What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on,
Back
dude?
from Texas?
Back.
How was that?
Mind-blowing.
Time of your life?
Yeah, I'm still taking it all in. I'll have to tell you, like, I don't know, I'm gonna put a video together too.
Yeah, I've seen your video of it already.
Yeah.
The first one you put up so far. It was sweet.
It was amazing.
Getting to live your childhood dream.
Yeah. What was the pogo? Like everyone pogoing on your back tire? They had a contest to see who could do it the longest. Yeah, I won it, and I was still, like, they were interviewing me and I was still pogoing. I was like, I do this all day.
Oh yeah.
It was awesome.
So is that what it looked like in the movie? It said Hell Track on it?
Oh yeah.
Just like that and everything?
Just like that, yeah. It was wicked. And then this is just our screen capture or whatever, but I'm trying to find a clearer view. Boom!
The backflip.
And then he passed 1, 2. I mean, he's passed a bunch of dudes.
Was that your first one?
That's the well. The
was
first
that the
one
first one where you didn't?
Yeah, it's the first
where
one
you
I
actually made it down.
Yeah, first I made it. No, dude was out of Australia and stuff. I mean, people came.
You have to
from all
rewind
around
that
the world.
real quick. I missed it. I missed the drop in.
All right, it's right after this, dude. Thinking about it.
And that wall is how high? Like 25
feet, 75-degree angle.
Hey. And you have your racing helmet on too.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I was like, I don't care. It's probably lighter than half their helmets they're wearing, honestly.
This is your first attempt at it?
Yeah, it's my first attempt. I'm like, oh.
Dude, that's a huge wall.
It's huge. Oh well.
You over-rotated.
No shit. It was great though. It was awesome. It was a rad time.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe the rest of the world wasn't there. They should have televised it. The race went exactly like the movie.
What's up, guys? I just got back from Brent's place. He just got back from Texas, and I went down there to pick up his smoke tester to check for vacuum leaks on like the intake or any boost pipes and stuff like that, because I was actually going to use it for the minivan today, because the minivan kind of has a surging idle right now, and I was going to smoke test it and see if it had any leaks on the intake. But I figured I'd just do that another day. But I also grabbed it for Emilio's car, because if you guys saw when we got it running, it had a little bit of an idle surge, so we are going to be working on his car this week, so I just figured I'd grab it real quick so I would have it ready. So yeah, I just got back and I just got the MR2 pulled in. The minivan was parked right here, but I pulled it out and got the MR2 pulled in here because I'm going to be pulling the motor today out of the MR2. My original plan for the MR2 was to keep the setup that's in it now in the car for as long as I could, and I was going to put the built motor together on the side, get a transmission for it, and then when the time came, I was just gonna pull this setup out, clean up the engine bay as I need, and then put the new one in right away, so the MR2 would only be down for, you know, a few days and it'd already have the built motor right back in it. But I didn't plan on K-swapping an STI, so since we're doing that, and I stole some parts off the MR2 for the STI, it doesn't have the turbo on it anymore, the manifold is off. We're gonna be using all that on the STI. Also stole some coolant stuff off as well, so it can't run and drive right now. So what I'm gonna do today is get the motor pulled out just so I can get that out of the way, because I have to push the car around anyways, and getting the motor out will make it lighter, and then I can start cleaning up the body and just getting it ready for when the time comes that I actually get the built motor all together and throw it in the car. Honestly, that probably won't be for a while, but I figured today would be a good day to pull the motor out of the MR2 since it needs to come out eventually anyways, and I've been putting a lot of my time into the hatch lately, so I kind of want to change it up. And as of right now, every car here technically runs and drives. The MR2 just doesn't have a manifold and it's missing some coolant lines, but it would start up and drive around right now. The minivan runs and drives, the hatch runs and drives, the STI needs a couple things, but it does technically run and drive. The Wago runs and drives, and the S14 runs and drives. So all the cars just need some little things here and there, if that. So none of them really need any major work, and I've been kind of itching to pull a motor, you know, do something more to a car than just little fixes here and there. And today would be a perfect time to do that. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to get the motor yanked out of this thing. I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and get right into it. We're gonna start by jacking up the back of the car, get the wheels and tires off, get the axles out of the way, and then we also need to take the engine lid off. And it's funny because I've actually never had this on ever since the car's been boosted, because the up pipe was right here. But since we took the turbo off for the STI, I was able to put the bonnet back on, and you can see how dirty it is from the exhaust and how clean the car used to be right there. But we need to get that off so I can get the shifter linkage unhooked, get fuel lines disconnected, wiring harness, stuff like that. And then we will go ahead and get the engine hoist under the car, yank the motor out, and that will be the end of that. I don't think it's going to be too hard since I don't have to line anything up. Getting the motor in was kind of tricky since the mounts are kind of hard to line up, but as far as taking everything out, I think it's going to come out pretty easily. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. Just as I was getting ready to work on the MR2, the UPS guy came with a package. Check it out, see what it is. I know I just ordered some parts for the hatch. Actually, I'm going to put it on the ground. Check her out. I have a catch can on the way for the hatch, and also some battery terminals. I think something else, I don't remember. Let's see what this is though, because I do want to redo some things on the hatch. Yep, so here's the battery terminal things, and then this is probably the catch can in here. So I was just gonna make a catch can, but I figured it'd just be easier to buy one because they're getting really cheap online now, and they already come with the fittings and everything that I would need. So yeah, let's check her out real quick. There she is. Get out of there. So we got our catch can. Then these are probably the filters that go on top, right there. Then we also have the little tie down piece that goes on top of it, just like that. So this is gonna go in the factory battery location on my hatch, and then I'm going to relocate the battery back up to the front bumper. If you guys remember, I did it a long time ago in the past. I actually had the battery mounted in the front bumper right here, but I didn't really like my bracket that I made. And if you guys remember, I had that super long reel of wire for my positive that I never cleaned up until I put the battery back in the stock location. And I just didn't like that because of my bracket, like I said, and it was just kind of ghetto how I ran it. But now that I have the weight plate, I want to make a legit little tie down on this corner instead, and then I'm going to run these two terminals on the inside of the engine bay so I can charge it when I need to, and I'll actually make it a lot cleaner than it used to be. And I'll also move some more weight up to the front of the car, and then I can redo my catch can setup because I don't like the little catch can I have on it right now, and I'll show more of that in another video. But sweet, that just came in. So it's about 5:30 right now, and gonna go ahead and start tearing into the MR2, see how long it takes to get this motor out. All right, so we're just over 20 minutes in, and I got both of the axles out, and I took the engine cover off. So now I am ready to start unhooking things in the engine bay. And something I just realized when we pulled the motor out of this thing for the very first time, what we did was we took the engine hoist and we hooked it to two tow hooks on the back of the car, and we actually lifted the back of the MR2 as high up as we could, and then we dropped the engine down underneath it and pulled it out from under the car. If I can, I would like to lower the back of the car as much as I can and see if the engine hoist will reach all the way over enough to get the engine out of the car. If it doesn't, I will have to drop it out the bottom again, but we will see. I do want to test that out, so I am going to spend a little time seeing if that is possible. I know also when we did that, we took off this rear K-member thing right here. I don't think I need to do that to drop it out of the bottom of the car. I think with the other engine I did for some reason, but for this one it looks like it would still drop straight down with the K-member in place. So yeah, gonna see on that real quick. I'm gonna pull the jack stands out of the way and lower the car all the way to the ground. It looks like I can just let it rest on the bottom of this K-member right here and see if the engine hoist can reach all the way in there, and we can just pull it out from the top. So it looks like this might work. I'm just not sure if the engine hoist will go high enough to get the motor all the way up over the car. Right now I have the car as low as it can go before this K-member hits on the engine hoist. I can go down like maybe another inch, but not much more. And I have the boom fully extended, and it just barely reaches to the center of the valve cover right there. I don't want to go too much far forward, or else I'm going to start scratching up my bumper right here. I'm probably going to put a little towel to protect that. But yeah, we're still going to try it out. I'm going to go ahead and get the charge pipe disconnected, the fuel lines off, throttle cable off, and any wiring that I need to take off as well. Go ahead and get the motor hooked up and start going up with it and see if we can pull it out through the top. And if it doesn't work, I'll just set the motor back down into the engine bay, and then we'll pull it out through the bottom. But I just want to know if it's possible, just kind of for my own knowledge. So I've been trying to pull the motor out of the top of the car for at least half an hour now. I have the motor a little bit wedged at the moment. What I tried to do was I moved the chain over to this hole on this side so I could get some tilt out of it, because the transmission was hitting on this mount right here. And I got some tilt out of it, and it almost clears, but it still hits on that side just a tiny bit. And this side over here, this lower pulley on the AC compressor, it's resting in between this mount right here, and it's not wanting to come out from that spot. I've tried to get a pry bar and try to wedge it back over here where it came from, but it's pretty stuck right now, and I'm gonna have to mess with it some to get it freed up again. I wedged her pretty good, and also this vacuum block is hitting pretty bad, so I probably need to unbolt that as well. But yeah, I just wasted a lot of time trying to pull it up through the top. I should have just went down with it, because I know that works and it's easy. But I just wanted to see if I could do it this way. I know it's possible, so I'm gonna keep trying, and I guess I'll keep you guys updated. Okay guys, so I was fighting this thing forever. I finally got it unstuck from the position it was at, and I tried to keep going up, but it just wasn't having it. It kept getting wedged, so I ended up just going back down with it, and right now it is sitting on the floor, and I'm just gonna jack the back of the car up and take it out from underneath. I'm not sure if anyone else has done this swap before and has managed to put it in through the top. I was just curious if it was easier to do it that way. In my case, it is definitely not, and I'm going to be putting the motor in from underneath from now on. It just sucks to do it without a lift. If you had a lift, it would be nothing. Just put it up on a lift and lift the body of the car right off, but not having a lift, it does kind of suck. But she is out. It's just resting on the ground right now. Now all I have to do is hook up the engine hoist to these two tow hooks in the back. There's one right here and one on the other side. I'm gonna jack the back end of the car up and slide the motor out from underneath, and she'll be free. Alright guys, so it took me just over 3 hours to get this thing out. It's about 8:30 right now. It would have been way faster if I just dropped it all the way down in the first place, but at least now I know not to try to take this thing in and out through the top of the car, because it does not work out. Also made a huge mess that I need to clean up real quick. I didn't have any sort of cap on the oil drain for the turbo, so when the motor tilted back, as I was lowering it, all the oil from the pan kind of dumped out of it, and we also lost a bit of coolant as well. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the car back down onto some jacks, and then I can put the wheels and tires back on and just make it to where it rolls again. And then the MR2 will be done for tonight. That's as far as I'm gonna get. But she's out, guys. So that means the next time the MR2 is running again, it's gonna have a built motor. Just not sure when that's gonna be. I do wanna save up and make sure I get everything legit just right off the bat. So I wanna get a nice transmission, nice internals. I wanna do it right. I don't wanna do this ghetto. And yeah, so it's gonna be a longer process than our normal builds. And then we're still busy with trying to find a shop and everything, so I'm kind of waiting on that before I really dive into the MR2. I want to make sure we get all that stuff situated. But yeah, we've been busy for sure, guys. But like I said, motor's out, so I'm done for tonight. That's all we got done. Emilio should be coming over later this week, maybe tomorrow. We might be working on his STI. We need to get that thing up and going. Like I said before, we're going to be putting the turbo kit off the MR2 on it for right now, just to get it going. All we have to do is get it running right, fix the idle, fix the fuel pump, and should be ready to go. Throw the turbo kit on there, make some power. But yeah, it's been a hell of a week, guys, for sure. It's funny because now that I'm out of class, I said that I was gonna have way more time to finish projects, knock stuff out, but I guess life always has a way of throwing curveballs at you. So that's it for tonight, guys. Got the motor out of the MR2. More to come on this thing in the future for sure. And thanks for watching.